Well, welcome back, folks. Today's episode is primarily going to be concerned with reinstalling the hood so we can get the tractor ready for brush cutting. It's really the last major component before I can use the tractor. But before I get to the hood, a couple other things I want to bring you up to speed on. One is that I ran into a problem with the ignition system. And what happened is initially, as you'd seen in a previous video, the tractor would started fine after I went through the distributor and replaced the points, the condenser, distributor cap, and virtually all the replaceable components. I did not replace the coil. It started okay and would run for, ultimately I found it would only run for like 30 to 45 seconds. And the way I discovered that, here a week, 10 days or so ago, I started the tractor up one day and was going to take it outside excuse me, to dump the sodium chloride out of the right tire, which I'll have yet to do. I never got to that. So I started the tractor up that one day and let it idle for a few minutes just to get it warmed up, and it quit. Just like somebody turned the key off. So I thought, it wouldn't restart. So I let it sit for, I don't know, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that, and then it restarted. I thought, well, that's kind of odd, but it quit again. So I thought, well, we're going to have to do a little diagnosis here, problem solving. So first thing I checked, of course, was fuel. Make sure I had plenty of fuel in the little tank right there, and I did. It was like 3/4 full. Checked the fuel was flowing to the carburetor, and it was, so I ruled that out. I gave the carburetor just a little bit of a sniff of ether or starting fluid. I wanted to see if it popped, and it didn't. I'm not a great one to overuse starting fluid because it'll wash down the oil out of the cylinder, so you got to use it with discretion. But little sniff, nothing. So I knew right away it was pretty much an ignition problem. So I started to backtrack, and I've been doing this, of course, a long time, and you always start with the simple things and you work through to the complex. You know, a lot of people jump right away, you got to rebuild the engine. I knew it probably was something simple. First thing I did was check on the coil over here, the wire coming from the switch, because I want to rule out that new ignition switch and ballast resistor, make sure I had current at the distributor, and I did. So I knew that the coil was getting power. So I knew it wasn't the switch, probably wasn't the ballast resistor, it wasn't fuel. It was something in the distributor, something I did with the work in the distributor, which was really the only things that had changed, is the parts that I put in the distributor. First thing I suspected was the condenser, because one of the symptoms of a failing or failed condenser is the very symptom that the tractor exhibited. That is, it'll run for a few seconds, a minute or two, and die. So I suspected the condenser right away. But frankly, and again, I've been doing this a long time on all different kinds of engines, I don't ever remember if I had a condenser that actually failed. I know there's people that claim they have, and I can't doubt them. But personally, if I've had a condenser fail on anything, whether it be a lawnmower, motorcycle, lawn tractor, outboard motor, I've worked on them all, go-karts, chainsaws, string trimmers, if I've had a condenser fail, it's been years, probably decades. But it did exhibit a condenser failure symptom. So, well, before I open the distributor up, let me refocus here for you. Before I went and opened the distributor up, which means I would have to pull it off the front of the engine, I thought the first thing I'm going to do is start backtracking and replacing or putting back in place the original parts I replaced. And the easiest item to replace or put back in was the distributor cap right down in here. So I pulled the distributor cap off, put the original back on, nothing changed. So I pulled the distributor cap back off, replaced the new rotor with the original, put it back on with the original rotor, original distributor cap, nothing changed. It would still run for 30 to 45 seconds and quit. So now I knew I had to get in and pull the distributor itself off, which I did. You know, you get down in there, there's two, I think, half-inch bolts you got to pull out, something like that, and put it on the bench. And I figured it's either the points or it's the condenser. So I took the new condenser out and tested it, and it tested okay. There's a basic test you can do for condensers. I'll at least give you an idea whether it's completely failed or not. Seemed to be fine, but I put the old condenser back in, put it back together, put it on a tractor, same problem. Run for 30, 45 seconds, then die. Pulled the distributor back off, took it back to the bench, and decided, well, the only thing left is the points. So let's go over to the bench and we'll talk a little bit about the points and where I ended up and how I ended up solving this problem. These were the new points that were in the machine when it would start and die. These are a new, brand new, no-name point. There's no labels or marking of any kind on them. Who knows where they're made. But this is the only component I could trace back to that I suspected was giving me trouble. So I went online and did a little reading and research, and apparently these no-name brand points are known to be problematic. You either get a good set or you don't. It's kind of a hit and miss. And it was generally recommended to use a brand called Blue Streak, and there's another, I think another brand also that have been around for years. But I did track down a set of Blue Streak points new and ordered those. And again, I had the distributor off once again, replaced these points, pulled these out. Obviously, they're virtually unused. Pulled these out, put the new Blue Streak points in, left the original condenser, by the way, because I knew that worked. And she started right up and ran fine. So I don't know what there is about these points. They look fine to me. I checked the point gap. It was 15 thousandths, is right on the button. Everything looked good. The connections were good. I could see nothing wrong visually with these points and how they were set up, but they didn't work, not for any length of time. However, the new points, the new Blue Streak, which are in the machine now, seem to be working just fine. In fact, I've taken the tractor out. I've driven around the yard quite a bit and run it for 20 minutes, half hour, no problems at all. So something about these points the tractor didn't like, so I just replaced them, and we seem to be back in business. So that minor crisis has been solved. Now we're going to move on and talk about the hood. Before I put the hood on, one thing I need to do is put the air tube that runs between, you know, the air cleaner canister here down to the carburetor throat. I'm not going to paint that yet. I will paint that later, I think, with the new red when I pull the seat off, which will be later this summer, and paint the seat. I'll paint that air tube and the seat at the same time. So to put the tractor back in service for now, I do need to put that air tube back in, and it'll be a lot easier, I think, to do, or easier, I don't know about a lot easier, but it would be easier, I think, with the hood off. So I'll go ahead and do that here in a few minutes before we put the hood on. There's the hood waiting to go back on, and it's not in very good shape, actually. It's got rust on both sides in the seam right here, in the same spot on both the left and right side right there. It's primered right now. Someone, who knows when, Bubba back in the day, just shot it with a coat of probably rattle can primer. This is curious right here on this left side I'm pointing to. Someone had cut a hole, as it appears to me, cut a hole in the hood way back when, and then patched it. And that's a welded-in patch. And you can, when you look at it from the inside, it looks pretty much like it does here. What for? I have no idea what they were doing, but they cut a hole, and then eventually someone patched it. But again, I think both of those activities, that is cutting the original and then patching it, was done many, many years ago, decades ago. It does have the original fuel tank, as far as I know anyway, mounted up underneath. The fuel tank was very clean actually. I was quite surprised. What I did to treat the fuel tank, because it was so clean, there's just a little minor surface rust on the very bottom, is I soaked it for a couple of days with Evapo-Rust. I plugged, of course, the outlet in the bottom where the sediment bowl threads up into the bottom fitting on the tank. Treat it with Evapo-Rust for a couple of days, drained that out, flushed it with warm water really well. And then I poured alcohol, a couple of pints of alcohol in there because that absorbs water, sloshed it around, drained the alcohol out, and then I put one of my shop vacs on reverse so that it blew air out rather than vacuumed air in. Put it in a filler neck and just let it run for like an hour, and it blew any remaining moisture out of the tank, out of the outlet for the sediment bowl, and dried the tank out, and it's good to go right now. Now, I've done a lot of derusting of fuel tanks in the last 50 odd years. I've done a lot of fuel tanks for my neighbors. I've done Model T Fords, tractors. I remember doing a International Super H about 15-20 years ago. Done a lot of antique and vintage lawnmowers, riding tractors, International Lowboys, you name it. I probably have done the gas tank for it at one time or another, as well as dozens of motorcycles. And I have a process that I use for derusting of fuel tanks, and I'm quite particular about it. My treatment of choice, if the tank is rusty enough, and that is it has scale that's building off the sides of the inside of the tank, is electrolysis. I actually have done videos on using electrolysis to derust items, fuel tanks in particular, and in fact I usually do it on motorcycles because that's usually what I was working on when I needed to do electrolysis, but there might be another video or two out there on some other piece of equipment. I don't recall. I've done so many videos over so many years. But electrolysis is my treatment of choice. I don't use nuts, bolts, washers, and screws. I don't use BBs. I don't put pieces of chain and rattle it around. I know those are techniques that people have used and they recommend. I don't, for a number of reasons. I just don't care to take that approach. That's why I use electrolysis, and it's never failed me. But this tank didn't need electrolysis, just a good flushing with Evapo-Rust, rinsing well, drying it out, and it's ready to go back on the tractor. So I'm going to go ahead and put that air tube on the carburetor to the air filter canister, and then I'll come back and see if I can't get this hood back on the tractor. Well, as you can see, I do have the hood back on. Got the air tube right there installed, new connecting hoses, and new OEM style clamps, aftermarket of course. The hood, I did try using that lift that I used to pull and replace the hydraulic cover last early winter, but it didn't work because it didn't have enough lift. It couldn't go high enough. So what I ended up doing is just placing it on there by hand, which was a bit of a challenge when you're doing that alone. It's not so much that it's heavy, but it's awkward. I took it off alone, so I put it back alone, and it's all buttoned up and back in place. This missing cover right here, I do have an aftermarket replacement grill right there in the screen that goes behind it. Eventually I'll put that in place. Obviously I haven't gotten to that yet. In fact, I just finished putting the hood back in and got it all bolted down. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to install the sediment bowl on the opposite side, bottom of the fuel tank, and then a new fuel line which will come across and down to the carburetor, and then stir her up and take it outside and run it around a little bit. So as you can see, I've got it all back together and got it running. In terms of fuel, the fuel system, I was very fortunate. I had one little leak right here where the fuel line connects to the carburetor, and I'm not sure I've got that completely stopped yet, so I might have to fiddle with that a little bit more. And on the other side where the sediment bowl attaches, a little weepage around the cork gasket. That's pretty common till those gaskets soak up the fuel. I probably should have soaked it in fuel like overnight, but I didn't, and it'll soak up fuel eventually. It's not dripping, but it might have a little moisture on it, so I might have to keep an eye on that. Those, sediment bowls in general can be challenging to get to seal properly. That's been my experience on other tractors and motorcycles and pretty much everything that uses sediment bowls. So anyway, I'm going to take it drive it out of the shop now and take it for a little ride around the yard. Well, that was the maiden voyage of the all but completed tractor, at least completed at this stage. We've got everything back together. Again, I need to add that little grill right there. Eventually I get around to that. Ran good, ran fine, didn't have any issues with it. I do have a little bit of fuel seepage right there where the fuel line connects to the car body, and if you're going to have a leak, that's a good place to have it because it's very accessible. Well, what I'll probably do is turn off, well, I've already turned off the fuel valve, but I'll run it dry, empty the fuel line out, and then loosen and reseat that fitting right there. That's just a flared fitting, and for some reason it doesn't seem to want to line up just right. But other than that, right now I'm pretty happy the way things have turned out. So next step will be to, I think, attach the brush hog, the brush cutter, and give that a whirl, and that'll be the subject of another video. That's going to be it for this segment today, folks. Any issues, questions, thoughts, drop me a note. Otherwise, as usual, thanks for watching.